just hunting. Actually, I'm having a midnight snack of banana. There's an empty banana peel, and I guess the banana ghost ate it. So, I grew up eating bananas for like breakfast, but apparently I don't know, minerals in them, it's actually better to eat one before you go to bed. So that's a pro tip for you guys. Kids, if your parents don't know, you should tell them, hey, really, you should eat a banana before you go to bed. It'll help you stay asleep, naturally releasing as your body digests all the food that you need to, stay healthy and sleep well. So I've been up contemplating silence. Several years ago, I met a woman who had a daughter, and I heard her call her name, and her name was Silence, and I was like, wow, it's an interesting name. And she said, yeah, it's a family name. My husband's Quaker. And she said it was really important that we had a Quaker name. She said at first she had a hard time with it because she didn't want to be like speaking over her child over and over, like silencing her in any way. And but then she laughed because she said, her daughter was actually very vocal, but also appreciated the beauty of, standing still and listening to the voice of silence. And yeah, she had this like beautiful thing. And so I've held that for a long time. But then there's this other side of not speaking up when you need to speak up, not feeling like your voice matters when you do. I've been seeing it in really small ways and like little meetings that I'm a part of. It takes a lot to create a space where everybody feels like their voice matters and that they're heard. And I don't know, it's kind of like a repeat pattern, I guess, that I keep seeing. The illiteracy of folks not knowing how to value, multiple voices at the table, but also kind of finding that common goal and shared goal. Well, just midnight snacking, trying to figure out how to build community, hold space for everybody at the table, speaking up when I need to speak up. I've been trying to document my process online for a long time. I've been telling friends about it just in person, and sometimes I write a creative poetry and share it, and sometimes I write lyrics and different genres, and sometimes I'm writing journal entries and stuff for like maybe a future memoir, and sometimes I'm writing like weird sci-fi, conspiracy theory. And in that process, my phone has started to, I thought it was like predictive text, but I've turned that off, and yet my phone will still kind of trigger different words at different times, even when it's not at all what I'm typing, or never would type that word or name or place, or very specific things. Sometimes it's while I'm typing. Other times it's when I like open my phone up and there'll be like just a message where I want to text a friend and something that I wouldn't text at all. So it's really fascinating. I don't know at this point in my life what's connected to what. I don't know if it's some kind of weird algorithm thing with my information, or if it's supposed to be helpful, if it's supposed to hinder me. Sometimes it seems aggressive and angry. Sometimes it seems like it's trying to label or tag what I'm doing, what I'm writing, what it is, what it's for. So that's interesting. Then, when I engage in any of the social media platforms that I have an account with, like Instagram and Facebook, TikTok, X or Twitter, or whatever they are, they all are synced. And also YouTube and my car radio and the media. And I've started to see the same news on repeat for the last 3 years in a row. I've started to see my the same metaphor and narrative also repeat in all the different social media platforms. And it's been an interesting view. Sometimes scary, sometimes infuriating, sometimes frustrating. I mean, that's layered, right? So I think sometimes depressing and lonely, because when you try to explain to other people what you're experiencing and others are not, or they, they're like, wow, you're spending too much time on your phone. And you're like, actually, I'm trying to tell you I'm not really spending that much time comparatively when you consider what the world's doing right now, and the things that I'm like actually looking at are not nefarious. So if it's reflecting back to me in like quite a nefarious way, something to consider that this is a possibility. And then the second thing is there's this counterbalance to all of that, which seems to be like extremely positive and joyful and all the things. And a few years ago, when that was kind of all that I was viewing and seeing, it like fed something, right? Like you're like, oh, this is interesting. It's like being on Pinterest and you're like, oh, this is interesting, I like this. But now that type of content feels disingenuous and feels like weird and somewhat like, unless it's somebody I know personally, or somebody like I like one away or something in my community, if it's just some like regurgitated like quote or whatever, it just feels so overwhelming and like, ugh. And then the other side of it is too, it's like both ends are so turned up extreme. It just kind of exists in this weird blah space. It's been upsetting that we haven't had, I mean, maybe there is, maybe you guys are all having access to something that I don't have access to, but like somebody to sit down and go, hey, so this is possible. And I just want to make you aware for the sake of, humanity and our kids and education and just the betterment of human beings. The flip side for me was that I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about technology. I learned a lot about my health. And I think the worst part was that there wasn't someone to really share it with. So that's been the process. I've gone through so much in the last 3 years that I haven't had like the complete time to give that I wanted to this full story. Like I really wanted to sit down and really give it the intention and thought of what it deserved. There's so many people that are true heroes in it that need to be, that intention needs to be there, but somehow life has just been fast and furious and difficult, and the capacity to do it hasn't been there. So, yeah, sometimes all you can do is what's in the now and hope for the best. Set your intention, start somewhere. This is a start for me. I am on a journey to face fears, and I've gone through a heck of a lot and want to share. Some of it is like I've lived in some pretty wild, scary places, and talking to young kids about, go travel and go do something, and talk to somebody in an elevator and say hi, and learn what red flags are, but also don't shut yourself out from serendipity moments and connections and what might happen at a magic juice shop or something, and that's really what I want. That's what I want for my little community that I live in. And I miss that, what do they call it? Sorry, that's my refrigerator bopping. It's making ice. I miss that kismet. Is that it? That thing that we used to have before we got all stirred up in social media. There was a time where I could be in a chat room talking to people on the other side of the world, and it was actually people. And sure, you have a few strange folks sometimes, but for the majority of the time at this really sweet window, there was people that you could be like, hey, I'm interested in coming to such and such country, and somebody would be like, I've got a place you could stay, and you would show up and they would literally just, set you at their table and feed you and roll out the red carpet for you just because they were kind. And that existed for a while, and I think that still exists. I think people just don't know about it and are living really isolated and fearful, and I hope more people travel. I hope more people experience diversity, and know their neighbors. And yeah, I had a really great time trying to figure out how to find a voice in that.